ielts speaking part 1. Today's topic card is number 24, staying up. We'll brainstorm all 3 questions together, and then I'll give you a full Band 9 style answer for each one. First, the format. Part 1 is a one-to-one interview with a certificated examiner. It lasts 4 to 5 minutes, and the whole speaking test runs 11 to 14 minutes. The examiner asks general questions on familiar topics such as home, work, study, or your interests, and follows a script. That last point matters. The questions are predictable, so you can prepare. These format details come from the official ielts website. You are marked on 4 criteria, and each one is worth 25%. Fluency and coherence. Can you speak at a normal speed and link your ideas logically? Lexical resource. The range of vocabulary you use, and how accurately you use it. Grammatical range and accuracy. The range of structures used correctly. And pronunciation. Can you be understood without effort? Your accent is not the point. The examiner scores your performance across the whole test, not question by question, so one wobbly answer will not sink you. Here is today's card. Topic 24, staying up. Question 1, do you go to sleep early or stay up late? Question 2, what do you do when you stay up late? And question 3, how do you feel when you have stayed up late the night before? Pause here and think about your own answers before we go through mine. Every strong part 1 answer follows the same simple shape. Answer: commit to a clear position in one sentence. Reason: add a why, or better still, a contrast. Detail: one concrete habit, example, or feeling. 2 to 4 sentences is plenty. Roughly 20 to 30 seconds. Remember, part 1 is a conversation, not a speech. Now, the traps. On the left, what pulls candidates down? One-word answers with no extension, obviously memorized chunks, 90-second lectures, forced idioms that don't fit, and I don't know with nothing after it. On the right, what strong candidates do instead? They extend by 1 or 2 sentences and then stop. They contrast weekdays with weekends. They choose everyday collocations over showy idioms. They use natural fillers like "to be honest" or "I suppose," and if they're stuck, they say so, and then answer anyway. Question 1. Do you go to sleep early or stay up late? Let's brainstorm. Pick a side, don't sit on the fence. I'll say night owl. Then contrast disciplined on weekdays, much later at the weekend. Then a reason: my brain only switches on late at night. And close it off: I've never been a morning person. Here's the language to carry it: a night owl, an early bird, to turn in before midnight, left to my own devices, and my brain kicks into gear. So here's the full answer. I'd say I'm a bit of a night owl, to be honest. During the week I try to be disciplined and turn in before midnight, but left to my own devices at the weekend I'll happily stay up till 1 or 2. I've never really been a morning person. My brain only seems to kick into gear after about 9 at night. Notice the shape: a direct answer, a weekday to weekend contrast, and one honest detail. 4 sentences, about 22 seconds. That is exactly right for part 1. Question 2. What do you do when you stay up late? The temptation here is to invent something impressive. Don't. Be honest: scrolling one more episode. Then flip it: but if a deadline is coming up, I work. Then a reason: it suits you, the house is quiet. A little self-deprecation actually sounds more fluent and more natural. The language: to scroll through my phone, to get sucked into one more episode, a deadline looming, and to burn the midnight oil. Here's the answer. Nothing especially productive, I'm afraid. Usually I'll end up scrolling through my phone or getting sucked into one more episode of whatever series I'm watching. That said, if I've got a deadline looming, I'll burn the midnight oil and finish off some work. I actually concentrate far better once the house is completely quiet. The pivot is doing the heavy lifting there. That said, turns one flat answer into two contrasting situations, and that's what gives you range. Question 3. How do you feel when you have stayed up late the night before? Name the feeling first: rough, groggy. Then go one level deeper, because this is where band 9 separates itself. It isn't the tiredness, it's the mood. Then add recovery time, a couple of days. And notice the question uses the present perfect, have stayed up, so mirror that naturally in your answer. The language: to wake up feeling groggy, not much use to anyone, to have a shorter fuse, and to catch up on sleep. And the answer: pretty rough, honestly. I tend to wake up feeling groggy, and I'm not much use to anyone until I've had a strong coffee. What I've noticed is that it's not so much the tiredness as the irritability. I've definitely got a shorter fuse when I'm sleep deprived. It usually takes me a couple of days to properly catch up. Not so much X as Y is a lovely structure. It shows you can compare two ideas precisely, and it lands directly in grammatical range and accuracy. Here is the whole exchange in one place. Pause the video, read it through, and then try saying each answer out loud at a natural, unhurried pace. Don't memorize it word for word. Memorized answers are easy to hear, and they cost you marks. Take the shape and the language, and make the content your own. Your language bank for this topic: a night owl, and its opposite, an early bird. To turn in, meaning to go to bed. Left to my own devices when nobody is imposing a routine on me. To kick into gear, to start working properly. To get sucked into something you didn't plan to do. A deadline looming uncomfortably close. To burn the midnight oil. To work very late. Groggy, dazed after too little sleep. Sleep deprived. To have a short fuse, to lose your temper easily, and to catch up on sleep. Learn these as whole phrases, not as single words. So why would these answers sit at band 9? Fluency and coherence: they run on without effort, and the listener never has to work. Lexical resource: the vocabulary is precise and idiomatic. Kick into gear: a shorter fuse. Grammatical range and accuracy: a wide range used correctly. Not so much X as Y, the perfect aspect, conditionals. And pronunciation: effortless to understand, with stress and intonation carrying the meaning. One important caveat: this assessment reflects an internal quality check against the public ielts band descriptors. It is not a certified examiner's score. Here's your challenge. Record yourself answering all 3 questions. Aim for 2 to 4 sentences each. Then listen back and ask yourself, did I commit to a position? Did I contrast something? And did I add one concrete detail? Drop your best answer in the comments, and I'll read through them. Thanks for watching, Bmaster79. See you in the next one.